And it blows my mind that I've been to America. If you now were to drive in Europe across France, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Luxembourg, Austria and Switzerland, so 7 different European countries, and you took the amount of time you drove across them countries in Europe, you still wouldn't make it across Texas.
Something that I'm never going to get my head round is the size of America. Okay, listen to this. Since we've been here now 4 weeks, we have driven 3,000 miles, almost to the dot. If we were to do 3,000 miles in the UK, we could go up and down it 5 times.
When I moved from Germany to Texas several years ago, I really underestimated how big Texas actually is. In Europe, well, I'm from Germany, you can already check off so many other countries when you travel. Texas, it takes you like 7-8 hours, even longer, depending where you at. It's insane. Everything is bigger in Texas.
Americans will do a 4-hour commute and it be normal.
Europeans are completely shocked when they realize the staggering scale of America is not a myth. Hit that subscribe button for more global culture shocks. Many arrive expecting quick road trips, only to learn driving 7 hours in Florida keeps you in Florida. The sheer size is unfathomable. The entire UK is 94,000 square miles, while our national parks alone cover 133,000. Visitors are weeping at Yellowstone and its beauty. This vastness explains why Americans vacation domestically, from crossing 4 time zones to eating Costco rotisserie chicken in huge parking lots. Witnessing this massive country is a truly unforgettable experience.
America, we need to talk. We need to talk about how beautiful and amazing your national parks are. Today, we're in Zion, showing my brother around as he's visiting America.
How ridiculous is that? My friend Dan has just moved to Long Beach, New York. I checked on Google Maps how long it would take to get there from Oregon. 42 hours and $63 in tolls. The size of this country is honestly mind-blowing. It's like its own planet. It's so big. I honestly, what in the world? I don't think people from the UK will ever truly understand how big America is until they come here and they try and drive around. For example, to drive the length of one state, Texas, it takes 12 hours. To drive the length of the UK, it takes about 14 hours. Texas is just one state. The UK is a whole country. Just think about that.
But I don't think people realise how big, large, wild, full of wildlife, full of animals that America is. There is nothing quite like American national parks and state parks. It's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. There really is. Like no other. I honestly think unless you live in America or unless you visit here, you can't really comprehend how nice these areas are. I think we've timed it nice. It's a Monday today. It's actually generally really quiet here. A few bikes going up and down as they do, but really quiet. The weather is perfect right now. Cool breeze. It wasn't like this last time we came. It was roasting last time.
There's a fact that I use to verify the size of America to people who don't believe how big it actually is, who've never been there. And it's this fact right here. And it blows my mind that I've been to America. If you now were to drive in Europe across France, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Luxembourg, Austria and Switzerland, so 7 different European countries, and you took the amount of time you drove across them countries in Europe, you still wouldn't make it across Texas. You still wouldn't. How insane is that? And that's just one state. I use that fact all the time when I try and tell people how big America actually is. You can drive across seven European countries, and at the same time, if you did that across Texas, you still wouldn't make it across Texas. What? What? And that's one state. There's 50 states, man. What? And if that doesn't verify you how big America actually is, then I don't know what will. I literally don't know what will. Absolute mental.
Americans will do a 4-hour commute and and it'd be normal.
So the original video that I stitched is talking about how people in the UK are always kind of shocked that Americans don't think that a 1 hour-ish driving distance is a very long commute, because of course everything in the UK is a lot closer together and a lot of things in the United States are not. What's missing from that part of the conversation is that there are states in the US that are such wildly different sizes that sometimes this just happens within the United States as well. My personal example is I was born and raised in Florida. You drive from east to west across Florida at the very, very top, which includes the Panhandle. That's Destin to Jacksonville. It's about 4 hours, 40 minutes. And if you drive north to south, that's Jacksonville to Miami. It's about 5 hours, 9 minutes. Never been a really big fan of Florida, so when I was 21, I moved to Connecticut. East to west, Stamford to Stonington, that's about 1 hour and 44 minutes. And straight up the center of the state from New Haven to Enfield, it's about an hour. But what's interesting is that Florida is only the 22nd largest state out of the 50 states in the US, whereas Connecticut is 48th. So when I lived in Florida, I had friends that lived a couple hours away, and if I wanted to go visit them, yeah, it's a couple hour drive. There's surprisingly not a really good amount of public transportation in Florida. And when I moved to Connecticut, I found out really fast that people in Connecticut think that half an hour is a long trip. I mean, to be fair, Connecticut is a state in what is known as New England, so I guess it's appropriate.
So I've been to Walmart already, and it's huge. But what is this? Costco. This is even bigger than Walmart. I'm way too European for this. I'm not able to understand. That's huge. Why is it so big?
Americans, I need you to explain something to me. Because in England, this would be insane. I keep seeing videos of Americans saying driving 2 hours to the gym. Like it's absolutely nothing. In England, 15 minutes in the car is considered a fairly long drive. You Americans will drive 3 hours and call it absolutely nothing. If we drive 3 hours in the UK, we are almost across the whole country. You guys are built different when it comes to driving. So be honest with me. How many of you spend 2 to 3 hours a day driving, or maybe more? Like, what is your regular distance that you drive? Be honest with me, be open. In the UK, this is completely shocking to people. Like, when I say, oh, I'm doing a 3 hour drive, that's nothing, because I'm American now. They look at me as if I've just hurt their mother. You know what I'm saying? People aren't used to that in the UK. It's unfathomable. Unfathomable. Americans, what is your regular distance that you drive? Let's shock all the British homies.
I'm convinced Europeans experience distance differently than Americans because I'm in a long distance relationship with my boyfriend right now. Every time I bring it up to someone who lives in Europe, they're like, oh, like I did long distance before. Like I only saw my boyfriend every 3 months. It was so hard. I was like, oh my God, 3 months. Like, how far do you guys live from each other? Thinking it was at least a continent away. And they're always like, oh, it was a 3 hour drive. Like I just couldn't justify making that every month. And I was like, my boyfriend and I lived an 8 hour drive and we still saw each other once a month when I was doing college in the States. And these people are fiancés or married. You only live 3 hours away from your significant other and you're not willing to make that drive. But I also guess that makes sense because you can drive 3 hours and be in a completely different country here. But if you drive 3 hours from San Diego or OC, you're still in Southern California.
Nothing is funnier to me than British people's complete lack of understanding of most things about America, but particularly the size of America. They think that they can travel to New York and pop over to Seattle or go to Disney World and check out the Grand Canyon in one trip.
How small do Americans think the UK is? I'm going to give you visual aids here instead. Let me draw you a picture.
Scotland, over here to a place called John O'Groats. That's taken us 15.5 hours to drive.
So that is driving from the southwesterly-most point to the northeasternly-most point.
Go from San Diego, which is the bottom of California, to the top of California to Oregon is 12.5 hours. from one part of Texas to another part of Texas is 7.5 hours. To go from the bottom of New York to the top of New York, depending on which area you're going, is about 6 hours, 7 hours. So forgive us when we are talking about singular states within our nation and going 14 hours between all the countries in the United Kingdom. It's not far. It is very common for people to travel and commute 1 to 2 hours for work each day back and forth. It is very common for people to travel 30 minutes to go to church, 30 minutes to see their friends, 30 minutes to get groceries. So yeah, when you're talking about America, I think Europeans' minds can't truly comprehend the scope and the size of America, because America is comparable to Europe. It's not comparable to your singular European countries.
America. I cannot get my head around how big this country is. My childhood friend, Dan, has moved to New York, Long Beach. We were chatting the other morning. I was like, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. He was like, no, it's not. It's 9 o'clock. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, there's a 3-hour time difference from San Diego to New York. How can a country, the same country, have time differences? It's that big. He was telling me that from San Diego to New York is a 7-hour flight. That's the same as going from New York back to London. This country is like, I can't fathom how big it is. It's so massive, so much to explore. Let's get after it. Let me put it this way. Since we've been in America, we've been here for 6 days. We've done 850 miles in the car. The length of the UK is only 362 miles. Just think about that. My God.
Yeah. 3 biggest states: Alaska at 663,000 square miles, Texas at 270,000 square miles, and California at 160,000 square miles.
Yeah, this will help us out, actually. This will help us out.
I want to know what England is.
Yeah, so we can get into our heads, like, what it is.
Yeah.
So, how big is the UK or England?
UK.
The whole of the UK. How big is the UK in square miles? Then we can, like, compare it. The UK is 94,000 square miles.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So let's
and they're just areas in America.
Yeah.
States: Alaska at 600.
So Alaska's 663,000 square miles. The UK, England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, all combined is 94.
Oh my God.
Mad, isn't it?
We're tiny.